It is Wednesday, January 12th, 2022. Brand new episode of the Boiler Breakdown podcast coming at you. I'm Tanner Lee. Evan Webb and Andrew Eiler are joining me tonight. What's going on, fellas?
What's
Not too much.
Another night.
Another night.
Another night of not watching Purdue beat Michigan.
Man, I was bored. I was bored at not watching that game.
I will say it was fun to watch games and not be stressed the hell out.
That is true.
So I watched most of the second half of the Baylor game. I watched most of the second half of the Alabama Auburn game, and at the same time also watching the second half of the Illinois game.
I watched Illinois, yeah.
Yeah. For some reason, I was in Illinois last night, in Central Illinois, and they did not have Big Ten Network, so I had to hop on my YouTube TV. It didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but
yeah, I was rooting pretty hard for Nebraska. Not gonna lie.
I think in our group chat with our buddy who's a huge Illinois fan, I sent a text saying how he was feeling, and it was like tied, and all of a sudden Illinois went on a 10-0 run. So I'll take the fault for that one.
Yeah, I was watching late. Kofi gets his fourth foul. I'm like, oh, Illinois is in trouble. Played better without Kofi.
Yeah.
I'm
nervous about that game.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that one next Monday. But is what it is. Illinois looks pretty good. Michigan State looks pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the Big Ten's kind of jumbled right now. But our Boilers got a much-needed victory since the last time we recorded a pod. They got the win at Happy Valley on Saturday. I forget what the final was.
I've got it right here. It was 74-67. I believe we were like 8.5-point favorites or something like that, so we just missed the cover. But
I think Andrew,
9.
Yeah,
I think it was like
Andrew,
9.
Andrew had us to cover, so
yeah,
he should know. Yeah, I'm just glad to escape out of there with a win. They're starting to play a lot better.
I feel like there was a couple years in a row where like every game we played there like ended up in overtime or something crazy like that. So yeah, the fact that we avoided overtime and got the dub, I like. Obviously, I love Micah Shrewsbury. I think they're going to be pretty good. They've got a pretty good recruiting class coming in next year. So I think they're hopeful. I mean, for his sake, I hope they're done being the doormat of the Big Ten.
Yeah, I mean, he's has them playing hard right now. I mean, they whooped Rutgers last night, and Rutgers was starting to get on a little bit of a roll. So Big Ten's starting to beat up on each other, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But what were your takeaways from the game Saturday?
Definitely step up defensively. I think. I mean, it was hard to be worse than what we were against Wisconsin. I felt like saw a lot of guys just standing around on rebounds and not boxing out. But I loved what we saw from Ivy, especially down the stretch defensively. Definitely a lot more effort given on his part, which it sounds like something that probably Painter has been harping on him harping on him a lot in practice, and so it's good to see that. Hopefully, he can keep that going. So I feel like if he can, because we saw it again. We saw it with Wisconsin. If we're not hitting offensively, our defense sucks. And if defense is supposed to travel, and you can always play defense. Obviously shots don't always fall, but when you don't play defense, that's when you get beat, and we have. So hopefully, with that game and now the almost a full week of practice before the Nebraska game, hopefully we can get some of those kinks worked out.
Yeah, the cancellation against Michigan might be a blessing in disguise to get some of those kinks worked out for sure.
You get a couple of days to, I think Brian Newbert mentioned this, but you get a couple of days just to focus on yourself and not having to worry about another opponent, which, had we played Michigan, they'd probably have, a day and a half or so of practice, but it'd probably all be focused on Nebraska, where now you can still spend those day and a half on Nebraska, but get an extra day or two just to work on whatever it is you need to work on.
Right. The two guys that stood out to me on Saturday were Trayvon Williams and Mason Gillis.
Mm-hmm. Gillis had some big threes. Trayvon's going to be one of my all-time favorites.
Absolutely. I think we got Tanner frozen here for a second. Oh. But yeah, echoing what you said, Andrew, I think came off the bench. I think what did he have? Ended up with
21
and 9 on
21 shots.
Yeah, 12 shots, 21 minutes, 3 or 4 from the free throw line. He had 9 rebounds, 6 of them were offensive, which I did not realize that. 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 1 block. But yeah, it was great to see him. We had that clutch shot at the end when Hera, however you pronounce his last name, was just body checking him, and it took like the third time for him to do it before the official finally called a foul. Had he probably not done that, he might have got away with it because they were letting Hera just abuse our bigs down low. But I mean, he hit that and one towards the end that was desperately needed because that's when Penn State was just going on an absolute tear.
Thad Moody says, always a good win, especially when you're at a birthday party with 3 Penn State fans present.
I think I know two Penn State fans out of all people I know in my life. That's because they went there.
I knew a couple that used to like their football, but then with the whole Joe Paul stuff, they don't really like him anymore. So I don't know if I know any.
I can't think of any.
But especially Penn State basketball. But
I don't know. I'd say I'm almost a Penn State fan now.
I am too. Yeah.
I don't root against them when they're not playing Purdue. But how about Isaiah's big 3 towards the end? I hope that gets his confidence going.
Yeah. So we can't have. I think we talked before. We can't have games where Isaiah Newman. I mean, Newman did nothing to play. Yeah. But where Isaiah, Newman, and Hunter don't give us anything offensively because they don't give us a whole lot defensively either, which is disappointing from Hunter because he kind of coming in and we're kind of hoping he'd be all defensive team, which right now he's not set to do any all Big Ten team. So if they're not hitting offensively, then I don't see a whole lot. I mean, and it's not even that, not even points, but they're not dishing the ball. Like I don't think stats here. Sasha had 6 assists, which is
he played pretty well.
He played pretty well, but Hunter had 2 assists, 1 turnover. Isaiah had no assists, and 1 rebound. So we got to get more from those guys, especially when games where Ivy or Sasha are being taken out of it. But yeah, hopefully that kind of gives him a little boost because he had been struggling a little bit, and hopefully we can get Newman some run on Friday.
Yeah, you got to get something for his confidence going. But, I mean, I don't really fault Painter, though. I mean, if Painter doesn't feel like he can trust him in big-time situations and in tight games, then
yeah. I mean, I think the only way – I mean, obviously he's struggling offensively, but if he I feel like the way to get for Painter to play is to play really hard defense. If he's not doing that either, then if you're not getting anything offensively, then there's really no point in playing it, which, I mean, can't fault him for that, especially when you're trying to – I know some people are like, well, we got to get him playing for next year, but it's like, I'm not playing for next year. We're not playing for next year. I know we're playing for this year and what we can do, but, I mean, I get the fans' frustration. I like Newman a lot. I hope this doesn't mean something about him, transferring. It's way too early to talk about that. I mean, we had this conversation about Wheeler all year last year, but hopefully someone like Newman can stick it out after, doing a redshirt year already, and the fact that we're losing, our top 2 guards at the end of the season, most likely. So.
Yeah, I'm not worried about him transferring just yet, but if this continues, then maybe. But one thing that drove me nuts was Edey's fouls. But like you said, they were calling some tic-tac stuff kind of towards our way. But man, he's got to stay out of foul trouble.
Yeah, it's the whole Isaac Haas conversation again of do they know how to officiate a big man? Because it's with someone like Edey, I mean, he had his elbows up. I mean, it's not like he had him like. It's just when he has his elbows up trying to protect the ball, his elbows just happen to be at the same height as most 6'8", 6'9" players' faces, and you get called for it, which is, I think, stupid. But there was some like I just felt like, I mean, every game I feel like we're playing about officials. It is what it is, just Big Ten officiating. But I just get really frustrated when you got one team getting hacked on one side and on the other end they're barely touching the opposing player and they're getting every foul called and nothing for us. But whatever.
Right. But it was what it was. I thought Ethan Morton played pretty well again.
Homecoming for him.
Figured he'd be pumped up. Yeah, playing it back in his home state. But he's definitely earned a lot of minutes under Painter. And like we mentioned, Mason Gillis, I mean, he's one of the most productive players in the country right now on offense.
I mean, it's the whole – I heard some guys talking about, the conversation of Mason versus First, just because obviously Mason is playing a lot better right now, which obviously First coming off of COVID quarantine, which you don't know. I mean, I don't think we ever knew if he was – I assume he was symptomatic if they actually test him. It sounds like we're not testing unless players are showing symptoms. But if he was symptomatic, you don't know how much he was affected by it. Obviously, I know we saw Sasha last year be pretty rusty for quite a while before he was able to kind of get back in the swing of things. So you don't know how much First will be affected by it, but I think First can give you a bit more on the defensive end just because he's more athletic and can rebound better. But I mean, Mason's just a dog, so it's I don't fault him for playing as much as he is right now at all.
Yeah, he might be my favorite player right now. This Purdue team.
He's consistent, so I mean, he's about the one guy who shows up every game. So
yeah. But any other thoughts or takeaways from Saturday?
The only thought I've had. Are you worried about rebounding at all?
Yes.
Because I mean, Purdue on the stretch since they got to number 1, Purdue has gone from absolutely dominating the boards to I don't remember the Rutgers game if they got beat on the glass. I think Wisconsin they ended up like slightly ahead, but it didn't feel like it, and then they were even for this Penn State game.
They're not boxing out. From what I saw Saturday, they're just trying to out-jump the opponent or use their height. And it's like if they just boxed out, they get
like kind of a discipline. There's like a discipline thing that goes with the defense too.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's quite a few. I mean, going back to the Wisconsin game, even early on, they had a lot of timely offensive rebounds that kept the minute and gave them a lead in the first half. Which had we just done our job, that game could have gone our way. And I was watching the Illinois game last night, and those dudes rebound. I mean, I saw. When it was kind of tight at the end, Illinois got like 3 straight offensive rebounds off. It was off like one guy got 3 straight boards, and Nebraska I wasn't even close to even trying to touch him. It's like you got a guy like Kofi who's just dominant, and guys who just outwork it. It can get really ugly.
Thad Mooney with a good comment here. Fouls on Edey just as consistent as what is a catch in the NFL and college.
Yeah,
good point. Good point. But now the Boilers look ahead.
What a fumble is with the whole Alabama-Georgia game. I thought that was an incomplete pass, but I would have put money on it, and I don't know anything apparently.
I don't know. I learn something new every football game I watch, it seems like. So, but the Boilers now have a tough 4-game stretch coming out in 9 days. Welcome the Cornhuskers of Nebraska at home this Friday, 6:30, Fox Sports 1. Mackey should be jumping as the students will be back.
Thank God.
Then back-to-back road trips next week. We Monday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day at Illinois at noon on Fox. Thank you, Kevin Warren, for that. At Indiana.
I mean, I just don't. What is the point of that? I
mean, the NBA's done it for years. I guess they just assume. Of course, colleges have that day off. They assume most businesses probably have it off. I don't know.
Sure, you have it off, Tanner, at the bank.
I do not. I've taken it off. We do. Yeah, we do not.
I'm taking a long lunch that day. I'll tell you that. I know that.
No, but I did take the day off. My girlfriend who works for a bank, she has the day off, so I went ahead and took it.
I figured the bank was closed on Monday.
Yeah, it used to be at one time. Yeah,
never mind then.
Yeah, but then at Indiana Thursday night, 7:00, Fox Sports 1. Hate that game. Every year.
I'm so nervous for that game. I'm always nervous, but I'm even more nervous now because they're starting to play pretty well.
Yeah,
and we're not. So
and then we host Northwestern on Sunday at 1:00.
Wait, the IU team that lost to Penn State. That was like, they're a bubble team. But wait a minute,
we did do something they couldn't do. Win at Penn State.
Yeah, I was like, wait, who did they just beat? But they beat Ohio State, and I think Woodson's going to hang a banner already. Is that what it was?
Yeah,
so it sounds like
they got a big one tomorrow up in Iowa City. So we'll see if.
Iowa's nothing outside Keegan Murray. I mean, I know they gave us fits, but
they struggle up there, Indiana does historically. Yeah. So we'll see. It's nothing easy on the road. I mean, Indiana, besides Ohio State, who have they played the last month?
Notre Dame.
Wisconsin blew a 22-point lead.
Exactly. Yeah. So Thad Mooney's bragging that he's a 4-day weekend.
Yeah, shut it.
Lucky you.
I had a 4-day weekend last week.
Perks of being in the military, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, what record would you be? Would you take a 3-1?
Yes.
3-1 over the next 4 games.
As long as the one is Illinois. I'd be okay. I mean, as much as it would suck for us just knowing our good buddy and we won't let it live down because they've had our number recently.
They have, but I hate losing to them.
Yeah. I mean, we get them back in Mackey, right?
Yeah, 9:00 Thursday night game in February. I think it's like February 10th, if I'm not mistaken.
I'll take it. But it's gonna be tough there, and just hopefully, I say it depends on how I'll feel differently depending on how Friday goes. If we
Sure.
see a lot of the same stuff on Friday, then if we play the way we did against like Wisconsin, we lose by 20 at
Oh,
least.
they shoot the ball too well.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Is just our defense and rotations and leaving guys open. They will make us pay for that.
Ivy's gonna have to go nuts. They don't have an answer for him defensively.
Mm.
So
It'd be really hopeful. I'm just hoping officials don't ruin the matchup of Kofi versus our big guys. 'Cause that could be really fun.
Sure.
Just from a basketball standpoint.
sure.
I mean, we definitely have an advantage of the fact we've got two guys, but Kofi's he's National Player of the Year right now. If he's not, then he's definitely one of the top guys.
As I
for
say, Johnny
sure.
Davis is in the conversation too.
Yeah, Johnny's really good.
Yeah, he's Wisconsin a lot better than I wanted to give him credit for.
Same. Like I said, after our loss, I was like, we just lost. I did not believe in that team at all, but yeah, they're putting together some good wins. I guess hopefully we'll see if that stays true the rest of the season. But yeah, they're better than I wanted to give them credit for. I wanted to write them off.
And we do have a revenge shot against them too in March. So
yeah, which I mean, the Kohl Center is probably the one opposing venue I actually like to see us play in, just because we do pretty well. Like, you might think like Northwestern, but I hate playing there because if we lose, it's probably a bad loss. Whereas if you lose to the Kohl Center, it's usually not a bad loss. But I actually feel confident whenever we go up to Madison.
And I don't want to pour salt in the wound because we've covered this game, but what was the rack now, the Jersey Mike's, that's becoming like my least favorite.
Yeah.
God, I hate that place. Except that one time we won by like 60.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was
that when Jaquil Taylor hit a double in like 5 minutes?
Yeah. We literally are up like 40 a half. It was awesome.
Watching that game at B-Dubs.
Go to B-Dubs next time we play them.
Yeah. So I wore the shirt I'm wearing, which is from the shop, which we'll cover that later. I wore this during the Wisconsin game. I might not wear this another game the rest of the year. First time wearing it, we lost. So I don't know.
Let's pick some Big Ten games. There's one going on currently right now. Michigan State's hosting Minnesota. Michigan State's up 14-10 with 11:34 left in the first.
I think Michigan State wins pretty easily. I watched Minnesota versus Indiana on Sunday, and again, it was kind of like Indiana got up like double digits, and then Minnesota came storming back in the second half. But then as soon as they came back, they just stopped doing what they were doing. That got them the lead, and then just started doing Lord knows what, and ended up getting beat by double digits. But they got some guys that could shoot, sporadically. So I think Michigan State takes care of them pretty easily.
Yeah, I think Michigan State's a pretty good team. I think Minnesota's going to wake up and start to slide.
Yeah.
Maryland's at Northwestern tonight. Northwestern's 5.5-point favorites.
Interesting. I guess.
Maryland cannot win a close game.
No.
So I'm taking the Northwestern at home.
Yeah.
Same.
Good one tomorrow night. Ohio State at Wisconsin.
Trying to figure out who I want to win this game, because just like obviously we're 2 games back right now. Both, I think Wisconsin's got 1 loss. Ohio State's got 1 loss with Indiana, so it's like
I think Wisconsin gets them at home.
So that's what I was thinking.
And then Indiana at Iowa, 9:00 tomorrow night.
Iowa 3.5-point favorites. I think Indiana gets it done. They've been playing.
I do too, unfortunately, even though I was talking about how bad they
not so fast.
I hope you're right, Andrew. I want to knock them down a peg or two because
they haven't won a road game yet. So
Yeah,
the only game they've won away from Assembly Hall is the Crossroads, which was essentially Assembly Hall North. So they need that. And I know they've talked about that as like they want to make a tournament. They have to win road games. So, but
Boilers in Nebraska Friday.
God, I hope
Purdue better win big.
Yeah.
It better be a comfortable win. I don't think it will be, but it better be.
No.
They need a nice, comfortable win to get the fan base to relax a little bit.
Yeah, if it's like 5 minutes ago in the first half, it's like a 5-point game. That crowd's going to be – I'm not going to be there, unfortunately, but the crowd's going to be so antsy. Because is Bryce McGowan's going to go off for 30 is the
He's
next
a
player.
stud.
He's a stud. Although it was hilarious last night, during the Illinois game, they were down like 8 with like 30 seconds left, and he had a nice dunk, and he was like trying to act tough. It's like, you're losing. Like, stop it.
He's a probably done.
He's a one and
this
done.
year.
Yeah,
So
he's skinny, but yeah.
But I'm glad you brought that up though, because I meant to say Pickett went nuts for Penn State. I'm tired of seeing one guy on each team go nuts.
At least with Pickett though, he was hitting some tough shots.
Oh,
he
was.
It's like with Davis, I felt like we were just letting him do it. We were letting him get confidence in the first half. Whereas with Pickett, it was just, I mean, they started like 1 for 9 from 3, and then just like hit like 8 in a row after that was something ridiculous. But at least Pickett was like, we had some hands in his face, and at that point you tip your cap. But it is annoying.
I know a guy's really playing good against us when I'm watching the game with my girlfriend, and by the end of the game, she knows his name, and she goes, "Does Pickett ever miss?" Well, I guess not today.
Was it the Penn State game that they finished? They hit like 8 of their last 9 threes.
Yeah.
And
so
then,
did you guys know they only made 8 threes that entire game?
I believe it.
Yeah, and it was. I think it was like, I think the first 3 they missed after going nuts was like. It was like end of the shot clock thing, and he chucked up, and I was like, that's going in. Like, but then he missed it, and I was like, thank God, because if that would have went in, I'd been like, that game's over. Like, we're not winning. If that's
I remember which one. I even said to Stephanie, I said, if that went in, I would have turned it off.
Yeah, it was like very Little Rock-esque of just just hitting a stupid shot. Like, it's okay, not our day. This is
not our season.
No,
none. And if this game happens Friday night, I assume it will, but I'm not sure. Michigan at Illinois.
That is interesting because I don't know. I mean, it was supposedly Michigan have enough players to play us, and you think the 5 days, but it's like, do they? I mean, I know last year they canceled the game because they only would have had like a day and a half to practice. It's like, are they doing this again?
Well, Illinois against Minnesota only had 2 days to practice. They went up there and whooped
them. They boat raced them. Yeah, but
I mean, if you're Michigan, if Michigan can't play, that's 3 games they got to make up.
Yeah. Which
then they got to institute the bring back the forfeit policy.
It's a mess. Things are gonna have to get shifted around. I'm just afraid they're gonna reschedule it when we have 2 tough games and put it right in the middle. So we're gonna have a 3 game gauntlet.
Well, actually, I was looking, and I only looked at our sheet. I didn't look at theirs, but I was thinking, I was like, there was one. Where was it? I think it was in March. Maybe not. I can't remember. We played them. Oh, we played them February 5th as a Saturday, and I was like, and we don't have a game until the 10th. So I was like, do we just do like a back-to-back, like Friday, Sunday? Like we just both travel up to Ann Arbor on Monday, Sunday, and go to Monday and just play like NBA playoff style. I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked at their schedule, so I have no idea if that would even work for them. Probably not. But
let's look it up.
I'll look it up right now.
I'm looking it up right here.
So. I don't know how this is. I'm already like Butler's getting hosed with this scheduling thing too because they had a couple games canceled and they've got thrown back on there. So Butler has starting this Sunday. They go Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday.
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
At Villanova, at UConn, home against UConn, at Providence.
That sounds awful.
Those are all tough.
4 games in 7 days.
And
because of COVID. Because there's 2 games that they just jammed in there. It was ridiculous.
Michigan plays at Penn State Tuesday, February 8th, Webby. So there goes your plan.
Crap.
Because then they would have to go from Ann Arbor to State College in a day. So
yeah, that's fine.
Hey, I mean, Butler's going Tuesday at UConn, Thursday home against UConn. I mean, they could do that. That's Tuesday to Thursday, same thing.
The Big East obviously doesn't care about Butler.
Nah. I think they just got to get that. The Big Ten's going to have to do the same thing. Yeah. They're going to have to start jamming these games in there, and then teams are going to play 4 games in a week.
Kevin Warren, you suck.
Exactly.
So if that game does happen, who do you like, Michigan or Illinois Friday night?
Or Illinois.
Oh, yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
Northwestern at Michigan State Saturday. These 2 teams already played once.
They did. That's right. Michigan State.
Yep. Rutgers at Maryland.
Before last night, I probably would have picked Rutgers in this game, but I'm going to pick Maryland.
I'm going to give the Terps this win as well.
No. Ron Harper Jr. is going to find some mojo again.
And then Sunday, Penn State at Ohio State.
I'm going to say Ohio State, but I think it's a close one.
I'll agree with you.
I'm on.
I think Penn
Shrewsbury.
State's playing tough.
Yeah.
In Iowa at Minnesota.
Iowa.
I'm gonna get Minnesota on this one.
Then we'll go ahead and predict them Monday because I doubt we'll
Yes, it won't be able to
do a pod.
before
Yeah.
then.
Purdue at Illinois.
My head is Illinois all the way,
Mhm.
but going with the Boilers, obviously. Close one. I hope it's a good game, and I hope we can pull it out, but it's gonna be a tough one.
I feel like this break is going to give Purdue some hope to get right. I mean, I feel like they haven't been right since the Rutgers game. Well, I guess, but like Rutgers, since the Butler they played okay.
Yeah. So that was the last good game we played.
Butler's terrible. So,
and Butler's missing 2 guys too.
Yeah.
More than 2. They're missing like 4.
Was it? Were they?
Yeah.
Hmm.
2 that were playing. There's 2 other guys that were played significant minutes last year that have not played this year yet. Still.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of Butler,
I think
there was Joey Brunt got some run against. I didn't know he was even playing this year, but for Ohio State against Indiana, I thought it was just because he played for Indiana last couple seasons, but then he got a ball just ricocheted off his face thanks to Trey Jackson Davis. But former Butler, Bulldog.
I'll take the Boilers too, Webby. I'm like you though. My head's saying Illinois, but I can't do it.
Yeah. I think it's going to be Purdue. I think this Purdue's going to show some fire for the first time in 6 weeks.
Ivy has a Carson Edwards performance like he did his sophomore year where he went off for 40.
Yep.
I'll take that.
Indiana at Nebraska Monday night.
I don't know. Can IU win on the road?
Pinnacle's a tough place to play.
Yeah, I think Indiana played them earlier this season. I think they were one of their earlier games. The December. I'm gonna go check that real quick. Let's see here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they beat them. They beat them by
13.
No, I said 33. They beat them by 13 at Assembly Hall. I think Indiana gets it done. I think it's a close one though.
Ugh, they're going to be on quite a run if they get these next 2.
Nebraska's first Big Ten win of the year comes that Monday.
I like it.
Monday night.
I like it. Any more basketball thoughts before we switch gears for a little bit?
I just hope this is a get right game for us. I mean, we need to. I mean, we're still. A lot of the experts still have us. Obviously, we didn't drop that far in the rankings. More of a credit probably to Wisconsin than anything, but I think we're ranked 8th in the net, which is probably the last 2 seed. But obviously, I know our defense efficiency took a massive hit in KenPom. We're like 67th or something like that, so that needs to be fixed badly. I mean, we're never going to be a good defensive team, but just need to be decent. I feel like with our offense, like I think with the offense that we have and capable of, we don't need to be locked down, but we got to have something better than what we've seen as of late.
Just keep winning.
Yeah,
right. I feel like a broken record, but I would like an easy win. But just keep winning. Just keep getting those W's, no matter what it takes. So. Yep. Before we talk about some football, you have a shirt from the shop, Webby. I see they're doing a deal today, 15% off a few sale items. But if you want something that's not on for sale, you can still get it on for sale.
Head to the shopindie.com, enter breakdown. When you check out, you get 25% off any item. It doesn't have to be pretty related. It could be anything. They've got. If you want to wear Colts stuff after that debacle that was Sunday's game against, feel free to. Or if you want to, if you've got a Bulldog or a Hoosier in life you want to buy items for some reason, you can do that. Or they've got some awesome Purdue gear still, stickers, NIL shirts. So
the Pacers might be boring to watch right now, but if you want to relive the glory days, you got some cool throwback Pacer gear.
I saw they just I think they added a few. Let me double check, but I think they added some. They do it also like culture, pop culture. So I think they had some shirts from Parks and Rec.
Yes,
because it's an Indiana-based show. They had some pretty cool shirts there. But just head to the shopindie.com, or if you want to stop in their stores, one in Carmel, one in Broad Ripple, you can stop into their actual stores and check them out. Absolutely.
And if you're hungry, come Friday night, it's kind of weird time, game time 6:30. It's right in the middle of dinner time. Order some Mad Mush. And right now their pizza of the month is the Killer Bees. It's barbecue sauce topped with chicken, bacon, banana peppers, and mozzarella cheese, finished with a ranch swirl and served with another side of ranch. Only starting at $14. So get 2 of those bad boys for $28. That puts you over $20. And if you use discount code online break5 or tell them the Boiler Breakdown sent you, you get $5 off any order over $20. That's Mad Mushroom. Feed your head. And that pizza does look delicious. Yes, I want that one actually. I need to try that one. Maybe I can convince my parents to swing by there Friday before the game. Maybe.
Might just take the afternoon off Friday, Tanner. Make it an extra long weekend. You're taking
why
Monday
not?
off.
Why not?
Or just go there on Monday to watch the game.
I like the way you guys think, both of you. I like the way you guys think. Let's talk a little football, Boiler football. I know the season's over. College football season is now complete. That
Somehow
Georgia
didn't end the season in the top 25 for some stupid reason.
That's right. What I was getting to. Georgia Bulldogs national champs, but we're ranked 29th in the AP.
I think SI. Someone posted SI had Purdue 24th or something.
That's for next year's
year.
top 25.
I just saw the headline.
24th SI, 22nd on Fox. Which is nice. I mean, it means nothing, but it's nice to get some hype going into the season. But I was just appalled. 9-4, and you don't get inside the top 25. It kind of honked me off.
With 2 top 5 wins and
a bowl win. Yeah, I
over
was looking
an
at
SEC team.
all the teams that were in front of us. I believe had double-digit wins, which is like I get, but also like I think we had some pretty nice quality wins and no bad losses.
Are you sure Purdue? Sorry, you said 9-4. According to Paul Feinbaum, Purdue was 8-5.
Yeah, him and Dick Vitale were not on my favorite list last week. If I had to pick one between Feinbaum and Skip Bayless, I really don't know which one I'd pick. I find them both insufferable.
Is Skip still on TV? I haven't watched.
Yes, he is.
I haven't watched ESPN in like 2 years.
He's on Fox Sports 1.
Okay, I haven't watched that either.
Him and Shannon Sharp, who's annoying himself, even as a Bronco fan. Shannon's pretty annoying too. So, Feinbaum's just a loser. I'm sure he's crying because he's a Tennessee alum, but he also loves Alabama. Right. But he loves Alabama, so I'm sure he's crying right now.
So, did he? Was the game final, or did he say that Alabama actually won that game?
Oh, I'm sure he said Bama won. He probably since their stud wide receiver went down, he probably says not fair.
Yeah, you have to replay the game.
Yeah, actually, I know. I mean, like, you're not going to get guys to sit out the national championship game, but like,
man, I wouldn't think. But now he's the face of it now.
Yeah, probably number 1 first wide receiver off the board. Torn ACL,
4.3 speed.
But also, it's like you go to Alabama to play for a national championship,
right?
Yeah, I don't think you're getting people to sit out.
I don't think if you sit out, I don't think Saban. I mean, I saw Brian Newbert post on the boards like saying like he's got probably the heaviest or the strongest voice for NFL scouts out there, and if you don't play in like the biggest game of the year, regardless of how many times he's won it before, I don't think that's going to bode well for your potential future.
Yeah.
No, I don't see any way, but it's just like,
oh yeah, I mean,
it'll be discussed now.
Oh yeah, ad nauseum.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's a little different.
I don't know what
City Bowl.
I don't know if it's going to go into. You're going to get boosters now that'll start like buying insurance for these players like that, so that he's getting covered that way if he falls now out of. I don't know if he's going to go top 5 or what, but like. If he falls to the second, I don't know how far he's going to fall. He may not fall really at all because he's going to have a year to recover basically. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things that I don't know. There's a right answer to it.
I mean, I think I don't know. I didn't fault David Bell or Karlaftis for not playing.
Not at all.
But it's not even really comparable because Music City Bowl, as much as it mattered to Purdue.
What if it was the Rose Bowl, Andrew?
I think he plays.
Yeah, I think they would have both played if it was the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, I go back and forth. Yeah.
I think it's totally different. Like that guy, top 5 pick. Okay, if he falls, people are still going to draft him. Probably the furthest he's going to fall, he's still going to be in the first round, probably just because we can see the potential. Bell, who's a fringe first, second round pick, potentially he could fall to the fourth.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
And then maybe he's and then he's not recovered, and maybe then he's like not on a roster. I don't know. Not that it'd go that far, but who knows?
Mm-hmm. No, it's
I don't know.
It's not
about
the topic's not gonna go away anytime soon.
No.
So not anytime soon. But there's other Purdue football news. The new football schedule's out. They flip-flopped the Wisconsin and Nebraska games, the locations of the games, which we thought was coming, so we wouldn't play them back-to-back. But they also rearranged some of the dates of when we play the opponents. So I think Minnesota got bumped up from November to October, which is nice since we play at Minnesota.
Yep.
And then a few of the others got switched around in November.
I was actually a little surprised that the FAU game is our homecoming. I thought usually that's been a Big Ten game for as long as I can remember. So it's interesting to see that it's a non-Big Ten opponent, which is, should hopefully be a win and a good time for everybody coming back.
Yeah, it's hard not to get excited looking at the schedule.
Totally different than this year, even though Purdue managed it pretty well. I remember looking at that non-conference schedule coming off of the rough 2020, thinking like this could be bad.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just crazy how, even just like, I know Tanner and I talked about, I don't think you're on the pod, Andrew, but just how much things have changed, even from like in season. Like, I remember like Illinois game, we were thinking this is a disaster. If we lose, season's over 4 games in, and now it's all of a sudden like we could win 10 games next year pretty easily.
Yeah.
Rose Bowl goes through West Lafayette.
I'm like trying not to get my hopes up so high that like if Purdue doesn't win 9 or 10 games, that I'm gonna be disappointed. But it's just fun to have some
just until like fall practice starts, because much could happen between now and then with transfers and whatnot. But
losing
coaches.
Even
talked about exactly. I was going to say you haven't even talked about the other part of it. That's kind of been a bummer, not unexpected, but kind of a bummer that coaching staff's kind of getting gutted.
Yeah, Webby, why don't you? You're the one that kind of broke the news to both of us.
30 minutes before we went on, I saw Tom Dienhart. So this has been something that's been floating around for like the last 4 or 5 days, but nothing really concrete from the Purdue end. But according to Tom Dienhart, so I'd say it's pretty credible that Jamarcus Shepard is going to University of Washington to be the receivers coach.
I guess better Notre Dame if you had to go somewhere.
Yeah,
as long as Notre Dame doesn't get the Alabama guy, which I hope they just miss on both of them, is just like even though I like Marcus Freeman, I don't know. Yeah. I just don't want Notre Dame.
I can't root for Freeman at all anymore. So I hope. Good guy, but I hope he doesn't do well. So
I'm surprised if he had the offer at Notre Dame. Maybe he didn't. Maybe Notre Dame didn't offer him. I don't know.
Yeah,
but being a Fort Wayne guy, I don't know. I would say Notre Dame's a significant better program than than Washington, but maybe Notre Dame was just wide receivers coach, and Washington he's co-offensive coordinator still.
Yeah.
In Washington, just 5 years ago, they did make the playoff, but that's when Chris Peterson was there, and they were still kind of rolling. They're not the same program they were 5 years ago. But
I didn't realize Shepard was at Washington State for a year.
Yeah,
under Mike Leach, and 20. I think before he was at Western Kentucky. I did not realize that.
Yeah,
he's been air raid pretty much everywhere he's went.
Yeah. So and you throw in their new head coach, is it DeBoer?
DeBoer, yeah.
Used to be was the offensive coordinator in Indiana when their offense was really good. So you've got a high octane guy. So it could be now they're going to be competing with USC now with the hiring of what's this? I'm just blanking. Is it Lincoln Riley? So it could make the Pac-12 really interesting.
Hey man, Michael Penix could be spinning that ball for the Huskies.
He went to Washington?
Yeah. I saw this being debated on the boards, and I want to get that doesn't matter now if he's not. But if he went to Notre Dame, how much do you think that would have impacted recruiting for us? I don't think it would matter that much.
We go after like all the Indiana guys. They probably go after only about 2 that we usually go after.
Yeah, like usually like the top.
It's like they go after the top, like the top 3 ranked guys in Indiana, and that's it.
And they're usually like linemen. So.
Yes.
And they
that are choosing between Notre Dame, Ohio State.
Correct.
So because I saw guys like how it was going to kill us. I was like, I don't think it really would have mattered because,
I don't know. I don't think it would. I think it would be more depending on who Purdue replaced it by, not by Notre Dame being that much recruiting better than Purdue, because they already do. But
yeah.
Got a comment here on YouTube. Who's going to replace Coach Shep? That's a great question.
I know my number one candidate, just out of just being a fanboy, is Mr. Stubblefield, come from Penn State.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how he recruits. I mean, it's Penn State, so it's kind of hard to tell because that usually place recruits itself.
Right.
But, I mean, you'd think he'd at least be intrigued just to come home.
Right.
I mean, he's from Washington, so keeping the Washington reference going. But you'd think he'd at least – I mean, I'm not sure what he's getting paid. I think Shepard's getting paid around $430,000 as an assistant or as a receivers coach and offensive coordinator, but I'm not sure what Stubblefield's getting paid. I'm sure it's pretty good being at Penn State, but I think you got to call him at least.
Yeah, I got to think that's a pretty intriguing job for a lot of people around the country, because our wide receivers have done so well under Brom. Our wide receivers room is so deep. Got to think that's got to be a pretty easy fill.
You look at this, the last couple of recruiting classes of receivers has usually been pretty good. Obviously, we had the two that were highlighted by Bell and Rondell Moore, and we still got some good guys, and you hope someone like Milton Wright can come back, gets this stuff figured out. But I think Stubblefield, I'm trying to think who else might be out there.
Someone saw. I thought about it. Desmond Tardy.
Yeah, he's at IMG down in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I just looked them up just to see. Do you know who their director of QB Academy at IMG is? Jeff Blake.
Oh,
that was interesting.
The old Bengal.
Yeah.
I mean, you think that would help us hopefully with some, recruiting down there with some of the Florida boys, but I mean, it's that place is just a fact.
Going from, I know. Yeah, it's high school, not college, but still, it's basically a college.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like with him, you don't have to pay him as much as you're paying Shepard, just because he's making that jump as a first-time college coach.
No, Tardy coached at Butler actually for a little bit.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah, but I think before IMG. So he's been in college, but not FBS level.
It'll probably be somebody who Brom's worked with in the past. That's usually
his thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not even at Western Kentucky. Maybe it was at Louisville or Illinois when he was a QB coach or somebody. But it'll be interesting. And then one of our co-offensive line coach retired. Retiring.
And I saw Dean Hart say that Dale Williams will be the offensive line coach next season.
Makes sense.
Now
Callaway's only been with the team for 2 years, right? He was an analyst last year, 2 years ago, and then this year was assistant offensive or co-offensive or offensive line coach or whatever.
Right.
So, hey, I don't know. Line improved, I think. I mean, they're pretty solid. Now they should have more depth, so hopefully. I know we talked about it throughout the season about how not many teams, I don't think, have 2 offensive line coaches.
Right.
So
it worked.
Yeah.
It seemed to. But it's, I mean, we're all kind of frustrated, especially losing Jamarcus Shepard, because he seems like a good guy. He's a fiery guy. He's a good recruiter. But we were pretty lucky to keep this offensive staff intact as long as we did.
Core, anyways.
I was shocked.
Between the quarterback coach, head coach, offensive line, running back, and receivers, all guys have been here since the start.
Brian Brom and Shepard were co-offensive coordinators, correct?
Yep.
So do you think it's getting kind of later into the coaching search? Is there anybody else on the offensive side? We haven't talked about defense yet, but on the offensive side, I mean, I know Brian Brom has looked at offensive jobs, but if Purdue hires a wide receivers coach and Brian Brom is not a co-offensive coordinator, he is just offensive coordinator, is that enough of a bump to entice him, or does he want to be play calling? Because Jeff still calls the plays.
I mean, I still think he would love to go be an offense coordinator somewhere, but I don't know if any of those positions are going to be open this late in the game. So he might have to sit and wait another year. But I do see him being the sole offense coordinator, unless they decide to add that to Barclay's title or something. But you usually don't see a running back coach get co-offense coordinator.
But I mean, a wide receivers coach to be a co-offensive coordinator?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know the ins and outs of why people get titles, but maybe it's just because we're more of a passing offense. I don't know.
Yeah. I know. I get it. I think it's more of a title thing. Well, part of their bump up.
We haven't even still haven't filled out the defensive coordinator position.
Mm-hmm.
I still got to think either English or Hagan gets it, or maybe they keep the co-titles and English calls the plays, because Hagan's never called the plays before.
Right.
I would just be surprised if they hire from the outside. But the longer it goes on with no,
I mean, they have
news,
to hire somebody. It's just a matter of if they hire a linebackers coach and that's it.
Right.
Not a defensive coordinator, someone to come and call plays.
I would love to see TJ McCollum get
So I was saying,
bumped
like,
up to linebacker coach.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Seems like the guys really like him a lot.
Yeah.
So
I forgot he was on staff.
Mm-hmm. And DJ Knox is still on staff for another year as a GA.
Yep.
So nice to see some of the former players sticking around.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out.
No word on is it Adams, the cornerback coach? I forget his name.
Yeah, no official word. I mean, it's been.
What's his first name? Jamal.
That sounds right, Jamal Adams. That sounds right, but that also sounds like an NFL defensive back too.
Yeah, I know. I was like, that doesn't seem right, but that's the name that came to my head.
But I mean,
no word on if he's going to follow. I know we talked about
follow
that.
Lambert to Wake,
Yeah.
which is interesting. Wake Forest and all the way too early preseason polls has it. They have Wake Forest in top 10.
Wow.
Of all of them. Mm-hmm. So they must be returning a lot of guys.
I believe you're talking about James Adams.
James. Start with the J.
Where they thought about it, I was like, it's James, not Jamal. James. Yeah.
He even start with the JAM. So close enough.
Yeah.
New start with an S though. But no, we'll see. I mean, spring ball, it's crazy to think. I mean, we're almost halfway through January. Spring ball is going to be starting in late February. So, man, got a transfer quarterback this week. And also the news, Austin Burton's coming back, which surprised me.
That surprised me a lot.
Do you think, I don't know. I don't want to, never mind. Not going to say it.
I don't know. How do you guys feel about this?
Well, I was going to say, does it mean, I mean, I know, so it's different than, so O'Connell, not very mobile. Olaimo, I don't remember.
I don't
know. Think he was super mobile.
We barely saw him.
I think he's a decent athlete.
Yeah.
Allen, true freshman, can't expect anything.
He's
and
not
also
going to see
not
the field.
Like super.
Yeah.
Do you think that that Brom was kind of recruiting him to come back to have that mobile, or is it more of Olaimo's not ready to be the true backup?
I hope it's more of the first, and that maybe Burton just loves playing football and loves going to school at Purdue. And maybe we do see more run packages next year in certain situations. It does give us an experienced backup option, which I like.
And he knows the offense.
But I could also see the counterpoint. Well, this pushes Olaimo and Brady Allen, which I'm not as concerned about Brady Allen because he's a freshman, but Olaimo's progress could be pushed back a little bit.
And really, we're just assuming that. I mean, who's to say that Olaimo really isn't going to be the two and Burton's a change of pace?
And also, this is Burton's last year, regardless, right?
Right.
So if we assume AOC plays the entire season, it wouldn't really matter because they're both gone at the end of the year, and then
100%.
we assume it's Olaimo's team next year unless Brady just comes and lights it up.
100%.
So I hope. I think I'd like the idea of having kind of like we do with Plummer, which I hope we throw more in. Like when he's in there, we actually have a threat to throw the ball because we never saw that really this last year. But we'll see.
To your point, Evan, about if O'Connell starts the whole year and then it doesn't matter. Tanner, what was the last time that Purdue started and ended the season with the same quarterback?
You jinx this.
It was 2016. Blau.
Mr. Blau.
Okay, before that, like 07, Painter. Did we say
well,
Painter
before that? It actually
Joey Elliott, right?
It was actually Turbush. Turbush started every game in 11. Marv had moments he came in, but Turbush started every game in 11.
Yikes!
Yeah, because the first game of 2011 against Mid Tennessee State, which we won on a blocked field goal. Marv's knee wasn't Marv's. Yeah, you wore jeans. It was 95. You wore jeans. Marv's knee wasn't ready for the first 2 weeks. Rob Henry blew out his knee. So Sean Robinson came in in portions of that first game because
true freshman. Yeah.
He was actually a sophomore.
Yeah, a sophomore.
And then they redshirted him, and then he switched to linebacker.
Moved to linebacker. Okay, I thought that was when he played. Before I knew it was when he got moved to linebacker.
I forgot when they gave him a block field goal. For some reason, I thought we blew him out, but
no. Then we lost the Rice the next week, so it was just fantastic. But the good old days, man. That's what Boiler Uniforms. I believe that's his name on Twitter. He runs a really good account.
Yeah.
He put, which black helmet do you like better, the matte blacks that we wore from like 13 to 16 or the new glossy ones that we introduced a few years ago? I said the glossy ones because the matte blacks remind me of how bad the football was between 13 to 16. Every time I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, it just brings back flashbacks of being down 42 nothing a half, having to have a pick to beat Indiana State.
Remember the white helmets that had the new train logo and the numbers on the opposite sides?
Those are ugly.
Those are awful.
Those are bad too.
Yeah.
Lime green ones.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those are at least those are special hammer down cancer, which I get.
How about, do you remember the one? I think we played Iowa. I remember it was either Abilene or Appleby, and it had like pictures inside the P, like a ton of small pictures.
Yeah.
It was like we had a new helmet like every game.
Was that Hazel's first year?
I don't know. They all run together. They were all so bad.
I thought like Hazel's first year, they did a bunch of fun, like weird, like gimmick kind of like that to get people excited. I thought that was Hazel's first year. I kind of remember that.
Which I don't know what I thought about this, but when Boiler Football tweeted out or posted a picture or posted something about like so O'Connell had some stat that I think he like had either most passing yards, which I don't remember what the stat was.
Yeah,
but it was like him,
completion
Blau.
percentage.
Yeah, it was him, Blau, and Everett. And
Herman,
yes. And the picture of Blau was like from his like one of his Hazler because he had the old uniform. I was like, we couldn't make one from 2018.
Nope.
Who's the intern?
What's and we're way off topic now, but what was the pregame pep rally of the Hazel Iron? They tried to first year
the furnace
212 because boiling quart of water, which was packed the first time. It was like packed the first week they did it, and then it was like nobody showed up. I never went. I know that.
9 wins in 4 years.
Yeah.
9.
Turn up the heat.
Yep. Furnace, great name. Love the name.
One brick higher, boys. One brick higher.
Which is still something that's in the locker room because I remember seeing videos of Brom. There's this one brick higher above in the locker room. I was like, I'm surprised we didn't completely gut everything, which is sad because that was built after Hazel left.
Yeah,
so it's like you think. I guess they started it, but
Jeff probably walked in. I like that. I like that one brick higher. Having no idea that. Yeah, that was our motto.
Didn't Hazel bring a book that he had from Ohio State, like the players
manual? A player's manual. Yep.
We thought that was so cool when he did it.
He tried to turn this into Ohio State, and it was not even freaking close.
Ohio State with MAC level players playing against Ohio State.
We were losing recruits to MAC schools. We couldn't even beat the MAC schools for recruits towards the end. Oh boy.
Great.
At least we've come a long ways in 5 years. That's why Brom needs an extension.
So we haven't seen anything about that.
I'm really hoping something's done behind the works or getting done.
Yeah. You have to think.
They'll announce in April or something. They got the big meeting.
I mean, I think I saw recruiting dead period ends here soon.
I think it just ended.
Did it just end?
I thought I saw someone say it ended. I can look it up real quick.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, it's soon that recruiting is going to pick up. I don't know if that's not that it really matters. I think Purdue's senior class is pretty much full.
Yeah,
but I don't know if it matters or not. But to say that, hey, you're talking to a junior in high school, and it's like, hey, I've got 5 or 6 years left on my contract, so I'll be here for your 4 or 5 years of college. If that matters or not,
I don't know. It's hard
they can leave at any time.
Right, it's changed so much, but. Yep, I hope Purdue's not done in the portal yet. I hope they grab a few more guys. Mm-hmm. I'd love that running back from Minnesota. But classes started this week, and he's not on campus, so that might say something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how it's all going to shake out. But any more other final thoughts before we get to wrapping this thing up?
Basketball season.
It is. Fully basketball season.
College football done. My NFL team, it's been done to me since Thanksgiving. So
we're looking for new coaches, Webby. You're looking for GM too.
Yeah,
we're looking for a new owner.
Are you surprised? Off topic though, Tanner. Elway and Manning, different ownership groups.
I was surprised Elway. I'd heard Manning rumored for a long time, but I had not heard Elway. So
I think your dream would be they go in together.
I don't think they ended on the best terms in that 2015 season from some books I've read. I don't think they were getting along by the end of that season, but I still wouldn't be surprised if there's, even the groups they're in, they're going to be the small player of the group. I mean, there's going to be people with lots of money. So I have no idea.
It's just the name. That's the only Peyton Manning's going to be the only name that you recognize.
Their estimated sales is going to be $4 billion. It's going to be the most in NFL history. So a lot of cash. Because the Broncos offered Elway like I want to say like 30% ownership when he retired for like at that time it was like 36 million or something.
Yeah.
And he didn't do it.
I'll have to look it up. The crap, I can't remember the name of the guy who owns the Red Sox. Henry. I think it's Henry. He owned like the Rays or the Expos, but then Major League Baseball like bought it from him and then like bought his ownership stake in the Red Sox or something like that for something stupid like $10 million.
Yeah, it's
or
ridiculous.
Something like that, like 30 years ago, and then now it's just worth billions. It's like something the dollar value is just insane.
It
was something stupid.
How much it's rose in the last 22, 23 years is crazy. So. All right, let's do some sponsor reads to wrap this thing up. The Boiler Breakdown podcast is brought to you by Webb's Family Pharmacy. Webb's Family Pharmacy is an independently owned community pharmacy with stores located in Rochester, Akron, and North Manchester, Indiana. Webb's is happy to announce they are providing flu shots and COVID-19 shots by appointment. Get online. It's simple. Pick the shot you want. Or you can simply call and set up an appointment that way, and their friendly and caring staff will be happy to help you. For all of your high-quality medical equipment, supplies, and pharmacy services, check out their website, www.webrx.com, or give them a call. Webb's Family Pharmacy, professional pharmacy with a hometown touch. And Andrew, what's Sroufe Landscaping Nurseries got when it gets a little warmer outside?
Yeah, I know. Hey, spring's right around the corner. Hopefully it can't come soon enough.
39 felt like spring today.
I mean, considering it was 8 yesterday or something like that in the morning. But spring will be here before we know it. Hopefully, we can dream. But keep Sroufe Landscaping in mind. They've been in business for over 50 years. Can handle all of your landscaping needs, including landscape design, maintenance, irrigation, hardscaping, and they are licensed lawn applicators. You can contact them today at 574-223-2769. Sroufe Landscaping, designed with you in mind.
Yes, sir.
One more plug for our friend Adam at Full Steam Ahead Podcast. He just released a new podcast with Purdue Sports chaplain Marty Dittmar. Go check that out.
Listen to it today. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, Marty's awesome.
Yes, he is. He's a good guy. So, and talked a little bit about David Blau in there. Talked a little bit about Aiden O'Connell. Talked how he got the job. It was a pretty neat story, and shared a funny Coach Tiller story from the Outback Bowl. So we really enjoyed listening to that one. So go check that out, and check out all of Adam's past episodes if you haven't. He had Sarah Griffin on of the soccer team before that, so always gets good guests on. Very entertaining. So, but subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Boiler Break Pod. If you listen on Apple Podcasts, give us a rating and review. That really helps us out. And with that said, let's boiler up, hammer down, and beat the Cornhuskers.
Indiana Corn's better.